Out. Rider.
Uninvolved.
Out. Rider.
Uninvolved.
All right. The topic: Whitney Houston.
All right.
Whitney Houston. Well, I'm embarrassed to say this. I was selfishly a bit upset when I heard Whitney Houston died. Like the whole mourning process of that.
Well,
is not going to hit me.
the timing is suspect. Period. Right. So she apparently did die. It's
sure.
still soon because this is the day after, right? But you need to understand that it's going into Grammy weekend. So if she did take her life, and we'll find out later. It's just strange. It happened.
If they're
right
going to
on
hold
the
off
eve.
on announcing Osama bin Laden's death, they could have waited till Monday. But anyways.
Yeah. But
or unless she died a couple days ago and they're waiting to announce it to screw up our day.
Well, let's put it this way: she's the #1 selling artist online, and her albums. Actually, there was a controversy that Sony raised the price of her album after the death. Right, post-mortem, they actually raised it $4. So,
so personally, here's the kind of annoyance, and a lot of people ask me this on the red carpet in the interviews, which is again kind of annoying. What do you feel about Whitney Houston, right? And it's like, wow, and this is how I genuinely felt, and I hope I don't get in trouble because I said it on CNN, I said it on Televisa, I'm like, well, I would like it. Yes, it's a tragic thing, but I would really hope and like to think that she would have wanted us to have a good time anyway, right? And actually, she probably wouldn't have, and she probably would have loved it if we were all fucking crying, right? She was a crackhead, right? She's get problems. But in saying that, I was really going in there hoping that it wasn't going to be a depressed Whitney Houston hour. And you know what? It turned out they handled it right.
Oh, they handled it great. Now, because that's the thing is, the Grammys is a celebration, of music. Obviously people sing of heartbreak and loss and all those things. And so, as part of the Grammys is some of that emotion that's channeled. We kind of talked about the diversity, that with the sand and the pearl, analogy that I made. It's part of music, but, when people are there to celebrate, their accomplishments, right, and their achievements, so you didn't want to turn into, a really somber occasion.
Yeah, and for artists, it's the end of the year for us. For talent and maybe producers, not for maybe the behind-the-scenes accountants and all that stuff. I think somebody told me their fiscal year ends in July or something like that, right? But for artists, you work all year because all your deadlines have to do with the Grammy Awards. The Grammy Awards is the music industry, right? Because that's just how shit works, right? Billboard's cool, Billboard Music, AMAs, but those are all not real awards comparatively. Right. So like Grammy night is, hey, we're done, right? Like it's New Year's Eve for artists.
Yep.
So like you just don't want to be in a sad mood.
So they didn't belabor it, and to this point, they had Diana Ross was one of the last people that came out.
That's cool.
And Diana Ross is legend upon legend. Like she is Diana Ross. I mean, Michael Jackson looked up to Diana Ross, right? And she came out and she mentioned it all. She's like, it's great celebrating. You're having such a great time. Having so much fun, having a great time. So if anything, it's kind of like that. You don't want to have somebody who had a drug problem, ruining the nights of everybody that's there, they're winning or being recognized, right? And trust me, and if you see that, it's not, and you can be cynical, but when you have bands like Civil War and Mumford & Son and Bon Iver, these are not the typical in sync type contrived put together music industry bands. They do embrace, it's a big umbrella of all kinds of music. They did reduce some categories. And I wish we actually had known which categories that were eliminated this year that we cared about. I think metal's the only one. They basically eliminated metal now. It's like hard rock and metal. And so guess what? Foo Fighters will put on an album every year, and they should just give him his Lifetime Achievement Award now.
They really should.
Just so somebody else has a chance to get up there.
I can't wait to see one year because usually Metallica always sweeps that shit, right? I would love to see Metallica and Foo Fighters on the same ballot. Because that's going to melt the brain of every old man who votes on the fucking things. Like, I've heard of Metallica and I've heard of Foo Fighters. What do I do?
Yes.
Right? So I'm very curious to see how that
But, we didn't mention him, but LL Cool J, he did MC, did a great job.
He did do a good job.
And I think it really was good in the fact
He's
that...
no Queen Latifah, but he did a good job.
Yeah, but I think he did a good job of kind of addressing the Whitney Houston thing. But it didn't really, even though it was a specter in the room, it didn't dominate, and the way they handled it was awesome, which is they respected everybody, because Etta James died, there was some big big, musicians that in the industry, producers and things. So they did the whole as they typically do. They do kind of a moment where they go through all the people that have passed, and the way they did it, they ended with Whitney Houston, and then
Jennifer Hudson came out. Oh man, and that was a kick-ass performance. It was.
What's the name of that song?
The Bodyguard song. I don't know.
I Always Love You or something like that.
I don't know what it's
but she did a cappella. She walks out on stage, in front of an international audience.
Starts out a cappella. Company came in later.
Yes. So she came out and she sings this piece and nails it.
Nailed it.
And obviously, it was nice because the song that was selected, that was Whitney's. When it was not just sung about Whitney, it was about all the people that were lost, and we're gonna always love you, right? It's these people. That's the beauty of music. It is immortal, right? You can go back, and as long as we can preserve, the recordings that we have, then they will be, cherished and loved and used for eons to come. People rediscovering music, right? I'm sure we had a James pass. Oh yeah, Amy Winehouse. We forgot Amy Winehouse about that earlier. But Amy Winehouse passing too.
Oh yeah, but did they cover that in a last year's thing, or that was?
Well, no, Amy Winehouse died this year.
Oh, wow, it seemed like much longer ago. Her parents came.
Yeah, I know. It was that on your list?
That wasn't on the list. I wasn't there during that time.
It's a good segue. So Amy Winehouse, and I don't think they actually mentioned anything about Amy Winehouse during the. She was one of the people on the montage of people lost.
The montage, and I think we get a performance during the commercial break that nobody else saw? No, we didn't even get that. So they just kind of.
So Tony Bennett